Welcome.
Alright guys, welcome back to Crossing Swords. In this... Oh, I'm Andrew.
Whoa, bro.
Let's start again, that was shit.
No, we're not starting again. That's some identity theft right there.
I'm Andrew actually, I'm not Jake.
Fucking goddamn right, I'm Jake. But who knows for next week?
Who knows?
I might steal yours now.
Why not?
Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about relationships and modern relationships.
Yes.
So Andrew, if that is your name,
Yeah.
where would you like to start?
I think we start with marriage rates compared to previous years.
Absolutely. Now, I think there's some really interesting numbers to be read from this. So just looking at the number of people getting married, this, by the way, unless otherwise, applies to to opposite sex marriages.
Yeah.
A lot of stats, believe it or not, were not available for same-sex relationships going back to the 50s and 60s.
Understandably.
Yeah, sort of, I get it. So, the number of people getting married spiked pre-war. 1938, nearly 500,000 people got married in that year.
Which makes sense.
In England and Wales. Again, these are all for England and Wales. Again, dipped quite obviously during the war,
Yeah.
unsurprisingly, but down to about 265,000 during the war, and has slowly then dropped from where it took a second peak of around 400,000 people in 1968,
Yeah.
all the way down to about 240,000 people got married in 2016, which means less people were getting married in 2016 than were getting married during the Second World War.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit shocking.
Yeah, well, I think we both sort of agree on as to why we've sort of got a dip in marriage now. Obviously, I remember when I was growing up, even then you were told, get married, have kids.
Is the life progression?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think overall as a society now, that isn't what's being said.
No, I think it's good. I think all those things are learnt, and I think, we've sort of briefly discussed this previously outside of the podcast, where I think there's quite a parallel as well between the increase of awareness of mental health.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, there's a lot more people now who are realising that traditional push of a traditional lifestyle, grow up, get married, have kids, and all relatively young, by the way, you're being pushed to do this in your sort of 20s. I think people are now realising that that's not for them, and that even if they are in relationships at that age, they don't want kids.
No.
That stuff doesn't make them happy, and
No.
I think they're more accepting of their own feelings, and they're willing to walk away from it, and you can compare that to, and I think everyone here listening knows probably 2 or 3 couples and at least half a dozen people who are committed to the traditional lifestyle, but not because they genuinely enjoy it.
No, they're not even happy.
Because they're in a sort of mental health denial.
Yeah.
And they're not happy, exactly, but they're committed to it because they believe that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to get a wife or a
They're
husband,
not happy
you
doing
have to
this,
get a
I'm not
child.
going to be happy doing anything else. And no, I think everyone does know people like that.
They're a dime a dozen. Unfortunately, it's not as uncommon as we think.
I mean, normally they've been together since they were young, and I think they get into, I also think there's a part of people think they're not going to find anything better. So I think they just resign themselves to, this is what
Well,
I
I think it's a matter of self-esteem as well. You found someone that likes you, wants to be with you, and you're worried that you're never going to find
But the
him.
thing is, in some of these relationships, the people don't even like each other, and that's what I find more baffling.
No, and I've known couples, older couples, I must have been sort of friends of parents and stuff, who can't stand each other, and you think, why the hell are you together? Especially because when I was growing up, I think through my life it became more and more common for children of divorce. So at the start, when I was in right early doors primary school, there were probably only 2 or 3 kids in the class that would pair, children to divorced parents. And then by the time I got into high school, there were at least a dozen that had parents who had split. And I think in that more and more common thing, so as a child, it was completely acceptable that people don't stay together.
Yeah.
And you think, why the hell would you stay together? But it comes back to that thing of it's what we believe they must do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are still, I think there is still a certain amount of shame that's attached to divorce.
Yeah, especially I think people feel like failures, don't they? They make this big declaration that this is what the rest of my life's going to be, and then they realise actually it isn't.
And it's interesting because if I said to you, I've just broken it, or okay, let's say you're a prospective partner, or if I can speak.
Yeah.
And I said to you,
I'm getting quite excited now.
I've just come out of a 5-year relationship.
Yeah.
It was really serious. We were living together, the whole shebang, but it didn't work out. You would not think anything of it. You'd be completely indifferent.
I'd be thinking you just want to bang my brains out. You want a rebound, Shag.
And I do.
After the podcast.
Absolutely, you fucking better believe. But if I then said I've just gotten divorced from a 5-year marriage, I think you would kind of think, oh shit, there's some baggage there.
He probably cheated on his partner.
There's definitely some baggage. He's going to be emotional. He's going to be fucking all this and stuff. But there's no difference between the two other than a bit of paper.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Because they're both, at the core, relationships ending. And that's what they do. And we've all had relationships that have ended. And they've carried no baggage or stigma to them.
No.
Unlike divorce. And I think that needs to change. But I think that gets taught out of people.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think we normalise it.
Yeah.
And we promote it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was young, I was really shocked when I met a couple of friends that their parents weren't married. I just couldn't wrap my head around it because all the adults in my life, up until that point, were all married. And then when I actually sat and thought about it, I was like, well, they've had kids, they live together, they have a mortgage.
Yeah, they're a proper couple.
Yeah,
we can. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Whereas in my head, I'm like, well, this is disgusting. Do you know what I mean? But there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They're very happy. They've been together. One of them, I think, must be close on 30 years, I'd imagine. And they're happy.
Yeah, and even the kids thing. I mean, I know a couple of women who are in committed relationship, married. They're going incredibly strong. They're really enjoying life, and the pressure that I see put on them to have children by their families and on social media by their friends stuff. When's the kid coming? When are you going to announce that news? And you think, and I know them. They don't want kids, and that's okay.
Yeah, people find
you don't have to want kids,
still, though, don't they?
Yeah, no, but it's all this idea of things we have to do. And we have to normalise the idea that there is nothing in life that you have to do.
No, I mean, I talked about with my partner, we both would like kids, but we've had the discussion that if that's not the reality of our situation, because I don't believe in having children just because you want children. If you're not going to be able to support them, look after them, and be good parents, I don't believe you should just have children for the sake of it. And I do think a lot of people do. I think nowadays a lot of people have kids. Maybe not as much, but people have children because they think it will fix the relationship. They think, this will keep us together.
They think it forces you together.
Yeah,
because they think they've got to stay together.
It's been proven that very much doesn't work.
It does the opposite, if anything.
Because that added stress of having a child, which as much as you love that child and it's the best thing in your life, it's fucking hard work from what I've heard. I can't speak to it because I'm not a dad. But
no, I've been a child though.
Yeah, and I've seen my sister raising my nephew, and it adds so much stress to your life. Because that child
and what it does is it forces pressure on the other cracks that already exist.
Yes, and all it does is it just breaks you even further.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But me and my partner discussed it, and we said that we would only consider having children if we were in the right place to do it. And
that's the other thing. I've spoken about kind of the rise of mental health and whatever, but also the rise of feminism. Women are working more.
Yeah.
They're more career driven. They've decided they don't want to lose their life. I'm not saying you lose your life, but you change careers.
They definitely lose their career. I mean, it's
a full-time job.
That particularly women of a childbearing age are very unlikely to get a position that they might really want that's more higher powered, because a company's going to think, well, am I going to end up having to pay for her to not work for 9 months so she can raise a child, which is completely wrong. Women should be allowed to have children and still have a career, but it's still a massive issue. And I think as society has driven equality more, women are going to work more and they are settling down later, which we've seen is reflected in the stats.
Yeah, well, the average age in 1951 for men and women to get married was men 29 years, women 26 and a half. Now that dropped a little bit in the 70s, where in 1971 it was 27 years old for men, 25 for women, but that's been on a steady increase. And in 2016 the average age, and bear in mind this is 27 and 25, was now 38 and 35 and a half. That's 38 for men, 35.5 for women. That's a 10-year jump.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
I think there's a couple of things in play there. One, what I was touching on before about women wanting to be more career driven, but I also think the massive difference nowadays is that people live together before they get married.
Absolutely, there was a lot of pressure back then to get married almost as soon as you met.
My parents, they never lived together before they got married, and in truth, you know, not saying my parents didn't love each other, but had they lived together before they got married,
there's a very strong chance
they probably wouldn't have got married and I wouldn't be here. Which some people would probably say they should have done. But nowadays, I think couples do move in together first. I then think your priorities shift. You think, if you're living together and you're renting, you're probably thinking, oh, instead of spending up to 25 grand on a wedding, why don't we put that towards a house deposit? And then you look at getting married. And we've seen that with some of our friends. We've had them, they've bought places before getting married.
Yeah, they've done pretty much everything on that traditional scale, everything before marriage.
What some people would say is, quite unquote, it's the wrong way.
Yeah, well, to quote Aaron Morecambe, it's all the all the notes are there, but not necessarily in the right order.
Yeah.
But or to paraphrase, but it makes for interesting reading because I think there are a number of reasons why it's gone up. Absolutely, and I think it's great that there's no longer the pressure to go out and find someone. But also, I think we should be discouraging in the media. We should be really downplaying the idea or promoting the idea that there isn't necessarily the one. There's not going to be one person for the rest of your life. We all like to think it, and you never enter a relationship thinking this is definitely going to end. But in 2017,
the reality that it could be.
Well, in 2017, 42% of marriages ended in divorce. And they're predicting, at that time, that 60% of marriages will end in divorce before the 20th anniversary. Which goes to show you that ultimately relationships break down, and we need to be promoting the healthiness of that, because you don't want to be stuck in a relationship, as we've discussed, with someone that you don't like.
Yeah, but I think that's why it needs to be proactive rather than reactive. I think people need to know they're with the right person. I think
and that's what co-habituation is, one of the things that helps
100%. That you need to know you and your partner are one, compatible. That two, when things do go wrong, that you cope well as a unit. That you can support each other. Because I've met a few women recently that they're in a relationship, they've had kids with someone, and they can't even speak to their partner.
Yeah.
You know, and you just think, like, I don't know how people can live like that, to know that no matter what goes wrong, your partner's not going to be there for you. It baffles me.
Yeah, it's the idea of rushing into things and...
Yeah.
Again, I think it's just pressure. I think that's what it comes down to, is a lot of pressure. Everywhere you turn from, we're raised by our parents, and unfortunately our parents' generation were all pretty much married, stayed together, did that traditional life.
I think our parents' generation fucked things in a lot of different ways, and I think enforcing marriage was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And I think our generation and generations going forward definitely need to learn from that. I mean, our generation still suffers from the mental health stiff upper lip issue that our parents' generation before
absolutely.
But yeah,
I think ultimately our position on my position on marriage, I'm not going to speak for both of us. I often do when you're not around, just so you know. But I'm not going to speak for both of us on this occasion. For me, it comes down to the only question you should ever ask yourself in life, and it comes with conditions, by the way, and I will just briefly touch upon those conditions afterwards. Are you happy? That's it. It comes with the conditions of, okay, if you are happy, or even if you're not happy, if you're hurting other people directly or indirectly, if you're hurting yourself directly or indirectly, no, stop, change course.
Yeah.
But if those things aren't an issue, and that's fine, are you happy? And we're still not prepared to ask ourselves that questions.
Yeah.
And when it comes to marriage, again, that's what it comes down to. Are you happy? And obviously, don't abandon it because you'll go through highs and lows. Don't just think, well, this isn't going very well, and jump ship. Yeah, give it a chance, try and repair it. But ultimately, if for a prolonged period of time you're not happy, be prepared to walk away.
Yeah, because ultimately, I would say on the whole, people can change but not change. They can improve, but overall they stay the same person. I mean, it's been, I believe, scientifically proven, someone can shoot me down if they wish, that I think everything that goes into making what we are as people happens up until the age of, I think, between 6 and 8. So, you know, anyone who, you know, their dad walked out on them when they were 11, I'm afraid that's not what turned you into a wanker. Whatever turned you into a wanker was either already there or happened before.
I'm going to have to politely disagree with that. I think definitely up until sort of like 16, 17, all of those early years are incredibly, incredibly important. I think they all leave a big impact. I'm
not saying they don't impact, but I think they've proven, it's something I can look up properly because I'll probably just sound like an idiot right now, but it has been proven that the majority of what makes us the people we are happens up until the age of 8. I'm not saying after that nothing matters and nothing's going to hurt you or
possibly,
change,
but I think I was a very
but I'm talking about the core makeup of your person, not necessarily, you know, I'm not saying anyone who's experienced something horrific after that isn't going to be affected by it. Of course you are.
But I was a very happy, outgoing child through primary school and whatever, and it was only then really high school where I became shy, inward, and a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
So I think all my sort of important stuff, the negative stuff, happened there, sort of 12 to 17. But anyway, that's
sorry, we're digressing.
So, marriage, great. We've sort of covered marriage. Let's get to marriage. Let's talk about dating.
Yeah.
Because I think it's something we've both had experience with. Believe it or not, it is a shock. I'm well aware.
Yeah, I've had a few interesting experiences. I mean, for me, our generation, it's, you know, I've never approached a woman at a bar or a club.
No, my self-confidence would
I've never been able to do that. And I don't think a lot of our generation can. You'll obviously find some who can, but I've not really met many people that are good at doing that or even attempt to do it. Our generation, it's mainly online dating. You know, the major apps.
Certainly if you're looking for a relationship as opposed to a little bit of house.
Well, I think Tinder's more the hookup one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there are online apps for it, but in terms of just going up to someone in a bar, I think it's more expected that that's for a
bit of nookie.
That's not going to last. Yeah. I mean, we do know people that have met that way.
Yeah.
And all power to them, they're still together and they're progressing down that traditional route. But I think generally, there is a shift to online dating, and I've tried online dating with varying degrees of success.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to women in the slightest. All the women I've ended up meeting up with or tried starting something with that I've met online in the past were all fucking nuts.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I ever met one normal person on an online dating
I met a couple.
No, I don't know whether I just attract a bit of weirdness and nuttiness. But yeah, my general experience was not positive, to be honest, looking back.
No, I can see that. My general experience wasn't. What would happen is, and I do completely understand that women get cascades of messages.
Oh god, yeah, men are creeps.
Unbelievably, and I can just say now, I've never ever sent an unsolicited dick pic in my life. I've sent dick pics.
Yeah, but never
to people I was in a relationship with, and to people where we'd been sort of like sexting beforehand, and it had reached the point of picture time. I've never been standing in the shower, for example, and thought, do you know who'd really appreciate this view?
I have to someone I've been in a relationship with, not like a girl I've just been chatting to and thought, send a picture.
No, absolutely.
No, but
But guys are creeps, and I do appreciate that. But my general experience is, because I started out, I'd read the message. I think that was how you do it. Like I'd read their profile, I'd really try and find some common ground.
Yeah.
And I'd write like a short paragraph that just kind of included a little bit of common ground, a couple of questions, and then you get nothing.
Or you get a fucking sentence back.
But this is the other thing. Once you're engaged, I've always had the experience, and I mean nearly always, 98% of the experiences I've had have been simple, closed answers. And all it takes to keep the conversation going, because then I'm working fucking hard to keep it going, and all it takes is two characters, you, ? Done. You don't even have to. You don't have to type out you. You don't have to put a space between the full stop and the
most minimal effort.
Just you ? And it keeps it going. I can respond, and we can keep going, And that used to really push me off to this. It takes nothing. Even if you don't give a fuck about what the other person's response is to that question, you ask it out of politeness to keep the conversation going. For me.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, as I said, I had issues with nutty girls. One thing that I always found weird is I'm normally quite an open person. When I meet a girl, I like them to know who I am as a person, and
all your
I'm quite
experiences.
Yeah, and I'm quite open. And I remember there was one girl I sort of got to know her reasonably well. She opened up quite a bit, and we met up a couple of times, and I just didn't feel that thing there. She said she did, but I didn't, and I was honest with her about it. And then she said I humiliated her by getting her to open. And I said, what's humiliating about having an open
conversation
with someone,
regardless of whether you're dating or not?
Yeah. And then there was another girl, a bit of a similar one. We opened up quite a bit to each other. Really nice girl, or I thought she was. At the time, I was working. I mean, I work on sociable hours now, but even more so back then. And we went on one date, and I was very honest with her, and I said, look, I'm not in a place for a relationship right now. I'm just want to date and see how it goes, because I'm
for sure
getting promoted at the moment, working on sociable hours. I can't commit myself to someone. And she said, no, that's completely fine with me. Let's see how things go. We started texting a bit more, and then randomly one day she's like, I don't think you're taking this relationship very seriously. And I was like, what fucking relationship? And then I had to...
Remember that conversation we had where I said, this isn't a relationship?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, and then she ended up sending me profanity for several days, and I ended up having to block her on my phone because it was just getting ridiculous.
Shame.
And I just remember thinking, dating's hard enough as it is, and when you're actually open and honest with people and they still take a negative reaction, because it's just...
Yeah, it's just to say that, it makes me think of a colleague, a friend at work, who went dating.
Yeah.
Went on one date with a guy, went really well, and he kept wanting to call her. He was like, can I call you? Can I call you? And she sort of was like... And the thing is, he'd message her at really inconvenient times, so she'd like literally just be getting home, wanting to just unwind, cook some dinner, and she'd explain that perfectly clearly. I'm just in. I really just want to kind of like relax, have some dinner, maybe later. And he's like, no, fine. And it all seemed fine until after about a week of this continuous. And she sort of said like, look, I know you're. I mean, she probably worded it a lot more polite than this, but she's like, I know you're desperate to talk on the phone, but I will arrange. Let's arrange a time and a day where we're both free and we can actually do it, like a couple of hours or whatever, and properly commit to it. And after about a week of this, can I call you at the worst fucking times? Or she'd be at work sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, I'm at work. And eventually he messaged her and was just like, listen love, I make time for the people I care about, bye, kind of thing. And it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's dating. In a nutshell, that's dating.
Yeah.
You both think you're at different stages of a relationship. I mean, I found myself, I was in a relationship not too long ago with someone I met online, and it seemed really well. But I found myself in a relationship unknowingly where we were just dating and seeing how things go. And then eventually, like, without realising it, she sort of started coining us boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, whoa, where the fuck did that come from? Because we were just having fun. Yeah. I know that sounds like a really dick thing to do, like when Ross comes like, we're just fun. We're just having fun. But I thought that's where we were at.
Yeah.
And apparently then we were committed, and she was like making plans for me to meet the family and all this shit, and I was like,
wait a goddamn minute.
And this is where I went wrong. Rather than being completely honest and saying, I don't think we're there, I really like you, but let's just see where this goes.
You sort of played along with it.
I didn't necessarily play along with it, but I didn't say no. I was a little bitch.
You ignored it.
I ignored it.
Yeah.
I completely ignored it. And let it get to the point where it was...
I think both of you were in the wrong in that situation. She should have stuck to the parameters you'd agreed upon.
Well, and
I know that sounds quite
we didn't agree on any parameters necessarily.
No, but you were dating, it was casual, and then she decided on her own that it was something more, and you should have clamped down on that near enough immediately, but she shouldn't have put you in that situation either.
Perhaps, but I definitely should have been saying...
Yeah, no, I think 100% both people have to be strong in those situations. I mean, I have one more story of an online dating experience of someone we both know.
Is this the one where you showed me her profile?
Yeah.
And the first thing I said was run. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I was actually away at a friend's house who lives in Norfolk, and we were doing a Harry Potter marathon, watching all the films back to back, non-stop, which I think is roughly 20-ish hours, so it's a long old...
It's a lot. It stops feeling magical after hour 3.
Fucking tell me about it. And I think I was maybe at the halfway point and I was bored, and at the time I was...
Whoa. That's sacrilege. You just admitted you were bored watching Harry Potter.
Mate,
that's going to offend a lot of people.
I love Harry Potter. I've had to go to Harry Potter World 3 times. I'm going again this year.
Now you're overcompensating. Now I don't believe you at all.
And I was single at the time, and I was a bit bored, so I thought I would message girls on POF. And I'm going to be honest, I used to have my sort of standard paragraph message that I used to send.
Yeah, that's fair. Eventually I got to that point.
Yeah, because I was trying to do individual ones for all these girls.
I was getting too much rejection from...
Yeah, well, you just...
ignore.
Yeah, you'd see a girl would view your profile and I've just sent a really nice...
That's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That is one of the most crushing
I've
experiences.
sent this really nice message. I've actually gone through the effort of reading through their profile, like you coming up with something, sometimes trying to be a bit witty or personal, or, you know, and you just get nothing. Or you'd get back a short answer. But anyway, I messaged one girl that lived nearish to me.
Yeah.
And didn't hear anything back. And again, it was sort of my standard paragraph message. And her first response, now this should have been my first indicator that she was a girl to avoid, was, I know who you are. It turned out that on my way to work most days I would walk past where she lived.
She sat there like a dirty old man watching you out the window.
Apparently. And then in the end I agreed to go on a date with her when I came back from Norfolk, and she had work that day just for a few hours, and she said, do you want to meet up in the morning and then after I finished work? And I had nothing to do that day, so I was like, yeah, sounds alright. And then I had about a 3-4 hour wait in between two dates, as it were.
Me.
So I used you to go cinema. I don't remember what we went to see.
No,
and I was telling you about her, and you were like, oh, have you got a picture? So I showed you her profile. And genuinely, the first thing you said was run. It turned out she had worked with Jake at one of his previous jobs.
Yeah. And
he was like, basically, she's a nightmare. And I thought, well, do you know what? Jake, shock horror can be a bit dramatic.
Whoa.
So I thought, well, do you know what? I'll see how it goes.
If anything, I underplayed it, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You should not have let me meet up with her after that. Anyway, I sent Jake home after the film and met up with her after.
Well, you didn't send me home, but our arranged meet had ended, and I left.
I sent him home.
Stuck a little note in my top pocket.
Yeah. Send him back to his mum. And so we went on to try and cut a long story short anyway, we went on this second half of the day, and I remember being sat at dinner, and I'm someone who's not full on in terms of what I want. I'm not very forward in that regard, and I can sometimes find it off-putting when a woman is like that. And
I love it personally. I love it.
To be fair, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it can be a turn on and something that's enjoyable, but for me, not on a first date personally. That's just me.
First date is way too...
Yeah, we sat there having dinner, and she out of nowhere just said to me, what's your take on the free date rule? And I thought it was a trick question, but I answered it honestly, and I said, for me it's when two people are ready, whether that's 3 dates, 10 dates, whatever it is.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, the 3-date rule is... traditionally speaking...
Where you have sex.
On the third date you have sex. You decide that's enough of each other that you... get it on.
Yeah.
Probably more romantically than just get it on.
So I basically just answered it saying, for me it's when the two people are ready, regardless of how many dates it is.
Quite right answer.
Yeah, and she just replied, what if I was ready 3 hours ago?
Again, that should be another red flag.
Yeah, it should have.
But your little fucking dick just jumped up and was like, hold on there, big fella. Let's see where this goes.
And then we ended up having a kiss at the bus stop, waiting to get the bus home. And I'm walking her home because she lived near me, and she said, so we're girlfriend and boyfriend now, aren't we?
Oh, whoa, I mean...
And I was like...
That's 3 red flags in the space of about a week.
Well, in the space of 24 hours.
Even worse.
And I pussied out, and I was just like, I did actually say, I'm not sure, it's our first date, and she was like, I don't know, I just feel like there's something here, and I ended up pussying out, and I agreed to it, and then it was.
This is where both wimps.
Yeah, and then it ended up in a elongated relationship that was completely unnecessary, and I should have never been a part of. And if I'm honest, I do regret it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm terrible at confronting because I'm a sucker for a pretty woman. I mean, I'm at the moment going through a bit of a process where all of my facial hair is turning white, not grey, white, full on white. And I was away with a lady who was old enough to have kids like my age, and she did have kids like my age, but she was quite pretty. It was like a thing for work. She spoke French fluently, she spoke Spanish fluently, and she spoke a little bit of German. I was smitten, completely infatuated. And whilst I was discussing the fact that I was turning white, and she sort of said, I find it really sexy. Now, for about 3 or 4 months before that, I've been vehemently against it. It was my core belief that I hated this process, and I was like going to do everything I could to deny it and change it.
Yeah.
One pretty woman says, I like it. I completely abandoned it. I was like, I'm going to rock it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go full on, get like the full beard.
Yeah, I told you I think it's a good look and...
Nothing. Arguments. She says it. Gone. I mean, I fucked. Honestly, if I ever marry a pretty woman, fucked. My life's over.
You'll be wrapped around her little finger.
Oh, if she ever figures out that that's my weakness, and I undoubtedly believe she will figure out that that's my weakness.
Any woman that hasn't figured out that's every man's weakness...
I mean, it was really bad. All she did was say it, and I was just like, I'm into this.
I'm surprised he didn't propose.
That's your area, and we both know it. Proposals, that's an interesting...
Yeah.
I'm a believer as well that I think it shouldn't be all on the man. Personally, I want to propose, I want to be the one to do that. But if someone proposed to me, if we were in a relationship and she proposed to me, I wouldn't feel like, hold on a minute, that's my role.
A lot of men would still be against that.
Yeah, I know they would.
Personally, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I mean, I proposed to my partner, luckily she said yes.
Thankfully.
Stupidly, she said yes, right?
Yeah, that's her own mistake.
But yeah, if she'd have proposed to me, I'd have said yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's about just, are you happy? If you're happy with that person and you want to commit to them, really don't wait for them to commit to you. Commit to them. Go and ask them.
I mean, I'm quite a traditionalist in general. I think it's sort of the upbringing I had. I believe in marriage. I believe in the woman taking the man's name, for example.
Well, this is.
But I am also open to the fact that couples can decide that for themselves.
Because for me, marriage, I see it as its only benefit is legally. Because I think our generation more and more understands that you don't need a bit of paper or an official document to tie yourself to one another, to commit yourself. You can do that just by, committing. But having said that, I do still want to get married. I do still want to have kids, and I want to take someone. I want someone to take my last name. But I'd completely understand her not wanting to lose her name, and I'd be more than happy to compromise with a double-barreled name. But as I sort of said to you before, where does it end? Because if you do the whole double-barreled name thing, then you get to the point where your kid has a double-barreled name, and he marries someone else with a double-barreled name, and then their kid has a quadruple-barreled name, and before you know it, you've got kids who go to school and the register takes all day. Like, where the fuck does it end?
Everyone's got a name as long as Dumbledore's.
Yeah, where does it end? I think there's got to be do you amalgamate? Do you kind of push together the names in that showbiz way? I think Branifer or whatever.
You just flip a coin and whoever's hyphenated name wins.
You think that's it? That's the way you determine all marriage?
I think you've got to in that situation. It's gone too far at that point.
It's definitely gone too far.
Or between that couple, they might decide to create a new
one. Well, I'm not against that. I'm not against that.
I mean, I've always loved the idea of being a Skywalker, but
I don't think Leanne would be for that at all.
No, probably not.
Potter, I think.
Although she's happy for me to call our firstborn son Xavier, so.
Wow, she is mental.
She's marrying
you and just calling your child Xavier. It's not a bad name though.
No, I like it.
It's not a bad name. It's a bit too posh for you, if anything.
Yeah.
You're a bit too working class for us.
I am very much too working class.
You're gonna have to start eating.
Although I'm not gonna lie, when I'm around
avocados.
Some of the people, my fiance, knows, I definitely don't feel anywhere near as working class sometimes.
No, and she seems like quite middle classish, and then she gets around some of them lot, and it's
Jesus,
bang! It's like EastEnders.
If anyone's ever seen the scene in How I Met Your Mother between Lily and her friend Michelle, when they're talking about Revertigo, where they revert to a previous state. It's like, oh, my girlfriend! It's not quite to that extreme, but it's
no, that's how we talk.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting switch. It's sudden.
Yeah.
But marriage, relationships.
Yeah.
That's pretty much our take on it, I think. And
I would say so.
We believe in equality.
We do.
And that's, I think, again, that's what it comes down to. Discuss with your partner. Talk about, find a happy compromise.
Yeah.
And be willing to compromise.
Mm.
That's the only way you move forward. That's the only way you overcome a lot of these problems.
I think in the marriages I've seen where people don't get on as much as they could do, it's because neither was willing to concede any ground on things.
Absolutely.
And
then you do things out of spite.
Yeah, and I think that's in relationships in general, not just marriage.
No, absolutely. But as I said though, marriage and relationship, the only difference is a bit of paper. It's a signature on a paper. That's it.
I don't know, I still fundamentally believe in marriage, but it's just something I think that's ingrained in me more than anything.
I do, and I also think, to count, as I said, I think the only thing is a legal benefit to marriage. But I think maybe the government should be perhaps introducing more and more things that couples can sign up for that give them those legal benefits.
Yeah, possibly.
Without having
but that
to
might put
go
them
to
in
a
too
ceremony.
much collision with religion, not to.
And that's the other thing as well, is it ties into, again, we're not going to delve into that at all, but how deeply ingrained religion is in the country.
Yeah.
Is that marriage is still being pressed, and then, fucking God bless Henry, who was like, fuck the Pope, I'm dumping this bitch. Thank fuck for that decision, because that literally allowed us a divorce. It allowed us
just because he
the
was
freedom
obsessed with having a son, essentially.
Yeah, and I don't know her, she may well have been a bitch. He doesn't sound like a great deal of fun, to be honest.
No, by the end he was a syphilitic mess.
Yeah, killed half of them. Doesn't it? It's like a barrel of laughs. You would be signing up for that.
Hey, he was king.
If you were on a dating website,
I'm sorry.
After a king.
After the first one or two, you know what you're getting into. Do you know what I mean? But once you're the sixth one,
what you could do when he comes knocking, he's like, "I'm here to marry you." But like, I'm not in.
No, but genuinely, once, especially when he's halfway through the six, you'd think the fourth would be like, "Well, do you know what? I'm not sure you've killed a few. I'm not sure if I would risk that."
What happens when you see it on the dating profile? You're like, "What happened to your last wife?" Well, yeah. Didn't give me a son.
Yeah.
But you'll be different. Won't you?
I only give you one chance. Don't think about having.
Don't fuck it up. Yeah. We fuck once. Yeah. If there's no son, you're out.
Yeah. And I think that's a good note.
I think it's a perfect note
to end it on.
It's a perfect note, guys. As always,
it's been a pleasure.
Like, share, subscribe. That's
like
to go to YouTube, isn't it?
Find us on Twitter at Swords Crossing.
Boom, nailed it. There he is.
On Facebook, Crossing Swords, and we also have an email address. It's crossingswords19@gmail.com, and please feel free to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, talk to us on Twitter, Facebook, email us,
give us
discuss with each other.
For future
We're also
episodes.
on YouTube now. We are
on
also
YouTube.
on YouTube.
Find us. We've got an Instagram account.
Yep.
Find us. We'll post that on our Facebook page and our Twitter page. We'll post links to that. And as always, share it.
Yeah.
Shove it down people's throats. Go out there and be fucking Jehovah's Witnesses, going door to door, ramming it in people's throats, walking in, shouting, "Hey Alexa, play Crossing Swords podcast." Just fucking do it. If you're around someone's house and they've got an Alexa or the other one, what's the other one? The Google one. I don't. You know what? That's not popular. Just shout, "Hey Alexa, play Crossing Swords podcast." Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Because even if they only play for a second, we get the plays. It counts.
Also, I just want to say thank you. Having a look at our stats on our provider's website, we are at roughly 27 listeners.
Yeah, I owe a lot of you hand jobs. That was my mistake.
Yeah, I don't owe you shit. I never promised any hand jobs.
If we could get to 49 and then stop, I'm not prepared to already please 50 people. If we could just get to 49 and cut out, but share.
I want this to go as big as possible. I want you to have to be growing half of the neighbourhood.
of the nation.
Yeah.
Going
I want you to be like that Italian woman that toured Italy giving out blowjobs.
It could be. If we carry on at this rate, I fucking could be.
Yeah.
But seriously, share it. Talk to us.
And
Get up. Light up our Twitter feed, man. Comment on all our statuses. Blow our shit up. Let us know.
We constantly want feedback to keep it coming.
And we want episode ideas. Okay, if you've got something you want us to discuss, bring it out. The only thing I would say, if we've just discussed it in the first few episodes, maybe don't suggest it because the chances are
we're not going to revisit it.
But anything new, anything fresh, send it our way. Like it, subscribe to it, share it.
Yeah.
Guys, keep playing it. Enjoy.
Yeah.